Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about KLaser. Now, KLaser has been released back in 2018 and the date of video capturing this lesson is 2019. It's been a year. So many things happened, so many updates, so many feedbacks I've received from so many people, which I thank you a lot for that. Now, I'm gonna let you know how the most recent version of KLaser works. So, it's very straightforward. You just install the Synthesize toolkit and make your Dynamo player ready. And to know how to do that, please check the video in the description, which is called the Synthesize toolkit installation. Now, after you get your Synthesize toolkit installed, just go to Dynamo player and navigate to KLaser. You're gonna find 3 scripts of KLaser. I'm not gonna explain the whole 3 of them in this lesson. I'm just gonna explain the KLaser by Phases selection. You can investigate more and understand how the other 2 works. Now, go to Edit Inputs in Dynamo player. After that, you're going to be asked for a phases selection. You will need to select some phases so the KLaser can apply its function to it. However, most of you will be actually surprised by the request here, model text family. I'm saying to you, load sample model text from extra folder. Now, here comes the troubles. You will have to go to the Dynamo packages installation folder, which is located at your C drive, users, your PC or Windows username. After entering your username, you're gonna have to go to the AppData folder, which is by default, it's hidden. So you have to reveal it by going to the View options and the View Show Hidden Files, Folders, and Drive. Now go into the AppData, Roaming, and you will go to Dynamo, Dynamo Revit, your latest recent versions of Dynamo, which is in my case 2.1. Now Packages, and you're gonna find Synthesize Toolkit. Inside of it, go to the extra folder. Now this path is long, I know that, and I'm gonna put it in the description in this video so you can actually make it or have it as a reference, but be careful of your username. You're not gonna find Karam standing in there. You'll have to change it to your username. So in this folder, just go ahead and search or grab the sample model text.rfa. Simply drag drop it into your project. Perfect. So now if you have refreshed, now you will see that the script has loaded model text family successfully in there. Perfect. Now the script can work. I got some examples to test the KLaser on, so let's get started. Search for KLaser. You will find KLaser by Phases selection. And of course, I have the model text ready or loaded into this project. Here it is, sample model text. It's sample model text and it's loaded. So, let me start by selecting a couple of faces to check how the KLaser works. Select faces, click on this, or let's click from the exterior side. It doesn't matter actually. And this. Now, I've chosen to click on the exterior side because of this small connection. I'm gonna leave it unselected, and I'm gonna click on finish, and I'm gonna click on play. Now, each run of this script would ask you to choose 3 colors. They can be any colors. I'm gonna choose red and yellow and blue. Anyway, just give it a couple of seconds and it'll give you a blue and a red. They are indicating the faces below. And of course you will have 1 and 2 assigned to them. Now, where can you find these faces to export? You're gonna see in the drafting views in the project browser, check out for KLaser. Go and you will see those faces. Of course, if you made the scale, let's say, smaller, and you will get the 1 and 2 faces. Now, they are almost identical. Let me just move them aside. And I want this time to choose this connection along with the face, and I'm gonna click on finish. I'm gonna click play again. Give it any 3 colors. You will see that the script actually, let's say, stitched those 2 faces together, and of course it gave number 3, and if I go to KLaser, I will see 3 here. So we have seen multiple functions of this script. Just a quick note, you can actually make wall joins miter, so you can have those faces as one, instead of having to select the connections all the time. Of course, some people would want to keep the connection, because it depends on the real life material. So if you imagine that you are choosing this face as your laser cut piece, and this is the other face. Now this face will be used like in a, let's say, in a small 3mm wood. So there is thickness. If you have like a half a centimeter, some sort of material, you will have this extra thickness. You will need to have an extra safe distance. So in this case, you will assign an appropriate wall thickness that matches your real life material scale. That totally depends on you. So the next example here. It's a single directional curved walls. So when I say single directional, it's not like double directional, which is something like this. So this is double directional curves. It has, or it is curved in 2 directions. However, this one is single direction. So the script works with both the single direction and the double direction, but it gives really strange results in a double directional curve. So it's better to stick with the single directional ones. So I'm gonna select face, I'm gonna choose this or this and this. So you can add as much as you want of openings or windows or doors whatsoever. So I'm gonna add a couple of more windows and a couple of doors. And I'm gonna click on play. Of course, it'll ask for colors, choose 3 colors and give it some time. It can actually take like 20 seconds to generate complex laser cutting surface of single directional curves. And it's done. So I can see the result is really kinda strange. It's not that strange. Of course, you can actually analyze the result in each run. As you can see here, it gave a surface that is actually one single surface, but it had to make some extra cuts near the door, as you can see there. So it depends from shape to shape, the number of openings and so on. So let's check the result in the drafting view. Here it is. As you can see, this is the extra pieces that needed to be created, and that's the whole wall. So I'll have to add this in here manually. And sometimes when it comes to openings, you might actually have to do some cleanups. So as you can see, this is some sort of like disconnection here. So I'm gonna have to do a couple of stuff to clean up things. I'm gonna delete these and these and this and these. Actually, I'm just gonna leave that here. But you can see that the missing cut lines, and what I mean with the cut lines, those lines that actually, or that might be needed for the folding of this unit. So to activate the cut lines, you just have to include folds in drafting view. Let me just do that again. Control Z. And let me just delete this window for now, and hoping that it doesn't actually separate the pieces. Even if it does, that's fine. You'll just have to deal with it. Now, 3 colors again, and let's just give it some time. And it's finished. As you can see now, it didn't give the extra thing it gave before. So it actually depends on the complexity of the surface. Let's go to the this view and you will see all the folds included. Now, of course, there is some cleanup to do. For example, those lines are not needed here. That's for sure, because this is a flat surface here. However, the rest of the lines are gonna be as they are because I need them for the laser cutting machine. I'm gonna just clean up these, and of course you will have to clean those things too. So for example, if you deleted this and joined this with this, it might actually take a couple of, let's say, clicks, but it's pretty straightforward. And I believe that's it. So of course, when the time comes for the CAD export, oh, here's a problem too. So when the time comes for the CAD exports, you might need to actually do an overkill in AutoCAD because there are lines, lots of lines over each other, so it needs an overkill. Alright, so let's head for the next example. The next example is actually my favorite. When you use massing in Revit, you can assure that you may use this mass model as your physical model. You don't need to choose the walls or the floors or whatever. Of course, the floors, you might choose the floors, but I mean the walls, specifically the walls. If you ask me, if I have walls or the conceptual mass, I will definitely choose the conceptual mass as my reference. But you have to be smart. What I mean is that you have to select continuous faces altogether, or else you will have some strange results. It's not recommended to do something like this and choose your whole mass. You'll get something crazy. So it's better to be smart while choosing. And also consider using the folds or not. So I'm gonna choose this and this and this and this face. As for the rest of the faces, I'm gonna leave for another selection period. I'm gonna click on finish. So I'm gonna say I want the folds because those walls are not single wall. In fact, I should have activated the folds in here too when I had this. Anyway, I'm gonna click on play. I'm gonna click on the colors I want, and I'm gonna give it some seconds. And it's finished. It gave me a face which with number 5, and if I went to the K laser drafting view, I can see this is 5 with some extra lines that might need to be cleaned up, and those lines are actually the lines within the faces that I actually don't need. As I told you, you might need to do some cleanups. They are not much, but better than doing it manually, the whole thing. Anyway, so as I said before, when it comes to AutoCAD stage, when you export it to AutoCAD, you might need to do overkill. There are some stuff in here. Anyway, let me get back again. Now the next selection period is going to be the other line, the other faces, which are those and like this. Click on finish, and I'm gonna click on run again, choose the colors again, and I'm gonna give it some time again. And it's done. So it gave me another face. It's kind of bizarre. So you can see that it's number 6, and if I went there, it is number 6. But the thing is that it made some sort of strange move here, which made the counterpart of it there. So if those pieces are together again, they will be connected as expected. But the thing is, I don't like this way of connection. So I have to change my way of selection in the first place. So I'm gonna choose again, but at this time, I'm gonna choose this, and let's say this, and click on finish and play again. So I'm gonna choose the faces as doubles now. And let's give it some time. And as you can see, it's finished. It gave something auxiliary, so it gave some sort of phase that if you fold it together, it'll give the exact same result as expected, as you can see here. So the fold is existed in here. So as you can see, it highly depends on your selection let's say, method. So if I actually want to continue, I would like to select all those three together, although I will not guarantee the result. If you ask me, I would prefer to select those faces together and the roof as a separate selection. But I'm gonna give it a try. Let's see what happens. And it's finished. We can get pretty cool result here. Let's go to the K-laser. We will see that those two walls with this roof, with its own folds. Of course, we will need to do the cleanups within between the faces. So the thing is that I personally didn't know. Okay, I knew the result, but you will not know the result in most cases. So I want you to try. I want you to figure out the best method of making the best laser cut for your model that you are designing. Of course, the other selection and the last selection period would be this roof alone, and it'll be all over. I'll just skip it. Now let's go to something kind of more complex. Now when it comes to curvy faces, as I said before, if they are single directional curves, they will work. And this is a single directional curve. It's not doubled, or it's not like that example in here. So I'm gonna just choose, let's say, this and this, maybe this too. Yeah, I guess that's enough. I won't choose the bottom side because I want to include the bottom side in the next selection period. And I'm gonna click on finish, and I'm gonna click on play and give it some time after choosing the colors. Now that's cool. It gave me the expected phase with the expected opening. And if I went, it's number 8. If I went to K-laser, I will see the number 8. Of course, you will have to fix something like this. That would always happen with the curves. So, of course, there are some lines that might need to be deleted here, and you will have to fix it again. So those fixes have to happen when openings occur, but they are not much, and they are acceptable according or if we compared the whole process. Now, of course, deleting the rest of those, and when you finish overkill in AutoCAD, we will do the overkill later. So those are the folds. Of course, you might, if you want, only leave the separation line and delete all the folds if you can create a better folds, or just not create folds and make it manually folding by your hands when you laser cut it. The important thing is that the size is accurately, precisely good. Now, the next selection period, it's gonna be this face, and this face. I'm gonna click on finish, and I'm gonna click on run. Choose the colors and give it some time. And we got another cool result here. As you can see, the faces are separated again, and they are as expected. So the number is here. It's 6. If I went to K-laser, oh, it's 9. And I'll find number 9 here. And of course, you can delete the all extras that you don't need, whether here or in AutoCAD. So it's actually pretty straightforward. Now the rest, or the final example here. So in those examples, you might actually think, what happens if you chose all of these together? Well, if the script successfully was able to separate these faces in a correct way, you are gonna make it. In some cases, it won't be able to do that. Let's try the whole things here and play and give it some time after choosing the colors, of course. And here we go. The result here is acceptable. It's actually physically correct. You can see that this piece had to do that, something like this. So when the faces are lined up, it gives the shape of this roof. And also this one works as expected, as when they line up, they will give the same exact shape of the roof here. So the thing is that I've tried to include all the problems you're gonna face with K-laser. Of course, if we try to choose the double directional curve, we're gonna get something really strange. Let's give it a try to show you what you might get. I'm gonna click on play and run, choose the colors and give it some time. And it's done. It actually gave me something like this. So it's really strange result. The only way to actually make use of this result is actually going to a site plan and looking at the outlines of the faces of the result itself and draw something around to make something approximate. But it's actually useless because no matter how you try hard, the double directional curves are always hard to get their outlines. So you might want to do this sort of manually. There are other scripts and this toolkit might help. For example, there's an analyze edge length, so you can actually use this to analyze each edge length. If you have the time, of course, they are like this and you can draw them manually and you go to the old school style. So the thing is that the only existed problem with the K-laser is the double directional curves. As for anything else, it works as expected. Here are a couple of examples that I actually made some time ago. As you can see, the stairs, it's simple but kind of cool. This is the handmade model of the stairs. And those are some other smaller models that are kind of nice. So they are all created in the same technique. Of course, this was some sort of university thingy, and my doctor will kill me if he finds out that it's really easy to do. Anyway, so let's get started with the exporting period. Now I'm gonna delete all these and I'm gonna start to export them. Now be careful not to export from the drafting view itself to the CAD. It'll export the real life dimensions. So no matter what scale you input, it'll export always 60 meters. So it's gonna be it's gonna be large. And it's always nice to choose your scale, your modeling scale. So for example, if I want to model all my things physically in a 1/500, I can simply do 1/500 here and simply drag it here. And I will have all the units and pieces at 1/500 scale. That's cool. Now let me just export it. Of course, you can delete the sheet itself. It's just the important thing is that you are in a sheet view. Now export Cad Dwg. Alright. Make it meters. And next. Now let's fire up AutoCAD. Alright. So let's open the file. You will see two files exported. One is the sheet and one is the view itself. If you actually go to the view export itself, you're gonna actually measure the real life length, which is 60 here, 60 meters. I don't want to do that. I want to open the sheet first, and I'm gonna see that if I actually measured it now, it's gonna be 1 or 0.12. So this is the length that's on 1/500. Of course, I don't know much about AutoCAD. You do whatever you want now. As my limited knowledge in AutoCAD, when I start to actually laser cut this, I actually open the same drawing, and afterwards I directly do an overkill, which is highly important, because if you didn't do an overkill, you will see that dozens of lines are above each other, as you can see. So simply, I'm gonna try an overkill. The settings of overkill are pretty straightforward. Just increase the tolerance to the stage you are satisfied with. I am actually satisfied with 002, so I'm gonna click on OK. It killed 1,383 lines. And if you checked up, you will see that there's no loss of information. And if you checked up more, you will see that when you delete a line, there's nothing behind it or below it. That means it's completely clean. Of course, it depends on your preferences. Now, the final stage would be the scaling. And I'm gonna scale it from here by reference from here to here that matches the number I have seen in the sheet. And now I have scaled pieces, overkilled lines, and they are ready to be inserted in the cutting machine. Of course, you might need actually to do some cleanups. The selection in AutoCAD is actually pretty cool with this. This is the only feature I actually like in AutoCAD. So select the things you want and continue till you are finished. It needs some cleanups, and hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.